Okay, so first update is that of the roadmap, right? So I assume before I continue with this point that everyone would have seen our latest roadmap. So obviously, just to clarify this, as many of you are familiar, um, how we've done roadmaps and our previous roadmaps in the past, nothing is ever really fully set in stone per se, right? And we try to do our best to go above and beyond to give back to the community or adjust for changes regarding what is required at the time, right? So just would like to clear this up with everyone that the recently released roadmap is kind of like a skeleton base and outline base of our initial plans and what we plan to provide and what we plan to come for SVS, right? So obviously not all of our plans are reflected and can be reflected on the roadmap right now. So once these things kind of gather fruition as we go along, and we kind of can solidify these surprises, we're very excited to be able to, push these out for you guys. Well, I keep yawning, man. Fuck, I'm sorry. Oh, not sure if I can swear. I'm sure Elon won't ban me of this beautiful app. Okay, so next point is that of the blood shop. So obviously we were talking on the roadmap. If I'm not wrong, just so I don't get quoted, I am very sure I spoke about this last week, and I mentioned that the roadmap would have a multi-community blood shop, right? So obviously we've taken things into account and looking at feedback from other people, and then we decided that after talking around, checking the letter, having a look, asking questions, and kind of hanging out and chatting ideas with other project leaders. We've compiled feedback, from other people of known and just aware that if we were to implement a decentralized blood shop, we think that this would have a much bigger benefit for SVS and for everyone in general, right? Because ultimately this would allow for SVS holders to transact amongst one another using the blood token, right? This is something that will take a little bit more time for us to plan the logistics surrounding this to make sure that not only is this a viable option, but this is also a sustainable option. It's very sustainable, as we could hear twice from T Cycle. Thank you, thank you. But yes, it's just that it would be a sustainable, viable option and something that would kind of add value and add strength to the longevity of SVS. Next is on you, my brother. T.
Yeah. So the next point here we have here for today is the sandbox implementation. So some of you guys are aware. A few weeks ago, we had like a castle tour of the Book Nerd Castle. Book Nerd walked us through it and showed us all the rooms and everything it has to offer. It's a pretty expansive and big castle with lots of room to sort of feature everyone's NFTs. So it's a pretty big structure. So what we're planning on doing is working with Sandbox. For the upcoming season 4. And when they do release this, or when we get closer to releasing the season 4, we're planning on having our own putting the castle live and having challenges and games and different things that people are going to be able to do and participate and sort of interact with SVS. So it's going to be a really good way to get a lot of exposure to thousands of people that are going to be playing Sandbox. For some, even the first time. So it's going to be a good way to sort of welcome them and introduce them to the project, and a cool thing for our community and current holders to kind of see as well. So that's it's a good thing that's coming up. The next point we have here is one that we recently you might have seen it in our recent tweet, but it's about the Twitter rewards program. So with the Twitter rewards program, we're still working on, it's under development, so not everything is set in stone, but ultimately the goal is for to provide value back to those who sort of engage in our community initiatives, who engage with our tweets, who comment, like, retweet. So as soon as we get closer to releasing this, we'll also release sort of like the guidelines for it and how you can earn rewards. We don't want to just make it as a way for you to maybe win this or win some blood. We want to think of ways to make it unique, and sort of really give something unique to those people who are actively participating and have been supporting us for the long run. Yeah,
Very nice.
Mr. Kudu.
Thank you, T. Yeah, sorry, I'm just scrolling through Twitter also, seeing some of the tweets from the vamps. I really appreciate seeing everyone that is like starting to post the fact that we do these spaces also. You know, like we're gonna try maybe pre-announce them a day or two earlier next time, maybe try to get a guest on or something. Obviously, we used to do that with Larry TV, but it is a bit hard to get guests on these days, especially notable ones. But yes, I'm gonna continue with the next one. So okay, so obviously something we get asked about quite a lot is that regarding partnerships and stuff like that. So obviously, as we mentioned in previous AMA, we actively work towards finding new partnerships and finding new people and communities who can add benefit, value to the SVS ecosystem as a whole, especially as holders, right? So obviously, if while we are also actively looking out for these and pursuing these, if any of you guys are there, or you guys may know people who are also wanting to partner up and link up with us, feel free to always just, you can DM T, you can DM me, Mars, or one or the other. I check all my DMs most of the time, even though they get blown up quite a lot. But you can always feel free to let us know. If not, you can also always email team at svs.gg. Yes, so obviously, regarding this, it is not mentioned in the announcement as things are not fully formalized yet and finalized. But obviously, I'm just going to mention it in spaces for you guys who are listening because you guys are the ones that count, and girls, obviously. But yeah, so we are in talks to do a partnership for a comic book. Okay, maybe comic book is an exaggeration, but it's like a comic, right? Um, SVS style comic, right? So we're trying to work out the logistics of this and are speaking to a partner project who are going to do something with us regarding this. So it's super exciting. So it's just one of the simple, cool things that we can do, to kind of add exposure, add value, and add more to what's coming, right? So there is a call regarding this that which will be happening tomorrow. And that's as much as I can reveal about that. Unfortunately. But yeah, we've been asked many times regarding a comic for SVS. We've been speaking to a couple of people regarding it. So I think that this would be pretty cool. These comic dudes have done some pretty big ones with other projects like Azuki and stuff like that. So it definitely will be cool to see an SBS version of this come out, right? So yeah, let me just answer a few questions. Do you plan to formally ask the community for suggestions with a vote to enrich the roadmap or vote on the roadmap? Yeah, we can do this too. It just depends what's the best way of doing it because asking the community to vote on the roadmap is a little bit difficult because that means we would have to give out the preset choices. So I think a steadfast formal approach with suggestions is probably a better approach because it can encourage full creative flow from the community rather than just what our interpretation of what your flow would be. So yeah, fuck my elbow, my bad. I think Twitter engagement and blood rewards, maybe buying up some flow vamps or interaction and competition is good. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea. With some of these blood rewards and some of the engagement competition stuff that we can do, we can definitely give out some vamps. We can definitely give out some vamps to the community and add or maybe people who are not in the community, right? I see some new people coming in quite often too. I saw today someone was like, anybody want to sell me a vamp, So I think it is quite enriching, nice to see some blue names once in a while. Good old blue names. Okay, the chat is fast. Okay, one sec. At T, G, would you be great? Would be great if you talk to Sandbox to have a few SUS NFTs to place in the NFT Institute, which is gallery which was part of all three alpha seasons. Yep. So we can definitely reach out to Sandbox and see if that is something that we can do right before season four drops, which I think will be in a couple of months. Katara, you've told me this idea before. I think this is pretty interesting. Definitely something that we can take into account when we are doing the burning aspect of SVS, right? To try and see what some of the cool concept we can come up with. Not sure if it's a graphic novel, Ed Wolf. I think that's like a bit much, but it definitely will be a comic. And they have done some cool stuff with some other projects, for sure. You want your vamp in said comic? It's not a bad shout. I'm not bought. If we have, if they give us the freedom to choose which vamps we want, which they should, um, then definitely. You should DM me what your vamp number is. Telenova SVS version. Shit, we should get a Teletubby SVS version. If anyone has a couple more questions to shoot out in the chat, I am more than open to answer them to the best of my ability. Please do, please do try not to blindside me with anything. I am just a boy and a man here alone. Martin, that is a good shout. Let me write that down right now. So we're gonna see how many vamps they actually are going to put in the comic, um, and what kind of freedom we have with them. I assume. So these are just things I'm going to bring up on the call tomorrow. But I assume I don't want to assume too much, right? I was going to say something so lame. You know, my dad always taught me, don't assume, because you make an ass out of you and me. Get it? ASSU and me. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yes. So I'm gonna bring this up on the call tomorrow. By me, I mean T will bring it up on the call because the call is at 9 a.m. in my time, which is slightly unfortunately difficult for me to make. But we will make notes to cover and we will check it in our group. So we will be asking how many vamps we can include. And we will run a competition to get your guys' vamps nice and tidy and see who gets a comic book made with their own vamps, which I think will be super, super, super cool. Drive up engagement more. That is definitely the plan, Martin. That's me hooked. Not sure if I can swear on here. Hello, G baby. Turn over. I'm just seeing gifs of actors and actresses. So I have no idea who these people are. Do you have a timing for the roadmap? Well, we don't want to put set stone dates too far in advance, but as we are approaching certain completion points, we will definitely put out stuff like that. It's something that we used to do back in the day, and I think it's something that is very effective and something that I would like to keep doing. Yes, this vamp is a baller. I'm not bothered. I think with all the gifts you make for the community and all the help you do, that you definitely deserve a spot in there. You know, this guy looks like a big baller. Oh. Big baller shot caller, you know, with his chalice. The most handsome vamp. Oh, this is pretty sick. The I Love Crypto beanies get you mugged in the street, I think. Just check. Oh my god, don't have any other questions? Yes. Bat emoji. Thumbs up emoji. It is my time. Am I yawning too much at work? My bad, man. It is fucking long day. It's almost 5 a.m. here. So. I'm not trying to be obscene and yawn that much, but obviously with these weekly AMAs, there's only um, so many updates that we can give you every week, right? Week in and week out. But I think what's most important is that we show up. I'm here to talk to all of you, hang out with you guys. Things changed from a year and a half ago and keep working towards a better future, right? That's all that it comes down to at the end of the day. Um, and even if there's only 10 minutes updates, but I can come and hang out with you guys for 30 minutes, it's what matters the most, right? Um, and we'll keep working, do our best to deliver what we can for you guys. Appreciate you guys, man. Yeah, I'll be sleeping soon. I gotta eat a little bit of food. My cats. I should go to sleep. The cats, which are very adorable. And if there's no more questions from anyone, then I shall be dipping. Let me see. Let me check Twitter too. I always forget that this shit's on Spaces. I feel like I'm just talking on Discord. Give me a second. I see Mars is still listening. Phil, G baby, I appreciate you always. All of you guys. Brungus, thank you guys all for tuning in. And I shall be seeing you guys next week. Ryan is manning the main account. He's here. He's just not feeling too well right now, so I am doing most of the speaking. But he did help me prepare the points alongside the others. So, you know, the man of the people, the voice of the people. So thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in to this week's AMA. I shall be in the lair tomorrow and every other day, as always. And I shall see you guys next week. And on that note, I appreciate all you guys. I love all of you guys. And bye bye. Bye bye.